There's a moment most people never talk about. You're in a conversation or a meeting, or just standing in a parking lot after finding out what the offer is. Something in you does a quick calculation. The kind that happens faster than thinking. Not proud of it. Not exactly. But the number was right, or the pressure was high enough, and the version of you who would have said no last year didn't show up. That moment. That's what this is about. Not greed. Most of us aren't greedy. We're just tired and stretched and trying to keep things together. And somewhere in the middle of all that trying, we started making decisions we don't fully recognize ourselves in, one at a time. Each one reasonable, each one explainable. I know a woman named Karen who took a job she had real reservations about. Told herself it was temporary, practical, just until something better came along. We'll get back to her. Scripture isn't surprised by any of this. It's been watching people run this exact calculation for 3,000 years. And it has something to say that isn't a lecture. It's more like a diagnosis. And once you hear it, you can't quite unknow it. Psalm 49 is one of those passages almost nobody reads, which is a shame, because it might be the most economically clear-eyed thing in the entire Bible. The psalmist opens by saying he's got something to say to everyone, rich and poor, all of it, everyone pay attention. And then he makes an argument. He says people who trust in wealth, who count on it to make them secure, to solve the problems that need solving, are operating on a lie. Not a moral failing, a mathematical error. Verse 12 puts it plainly. People, despite their wealth, do not endure. The money outlasts you. It doesn't save you. Verse 17. For they will take nothing with them when they die. Their splendor will not descend with them to the grave. But that's not actually the point he's making. The point is that the people around you, who seem like they have it figured out because they have money, the ones your anxiety keeps measuring you against, the ones who seem comfortable in a way you'd like to feel, they're not actually as solved as they look. Their security has an expiration date they can't see. The psalmist calls their private logic their inward thought. The math people run internally about what money means and what it can do. He's not describing criminals. He's describing normal people with normal financial goals and normal anxiety about meeting them. And his point is, the math is wrong, not immoral. Wrong. The numbers don't add up the way the calculation assumes they do. Proverbs 11 verse 3. The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity. The word destroyed sounds dramatic, but look at the mechanism. It's not an attack from outside. The unfaithful are destroyed by their own duplicity, their own double dealing. The private gap between who they present themselves as and the decisions they're actually making. That's what financial pressure opens up. When the margin gets tight, the small compromises get easier to rationalize. You don't disclose the thing you should disclose. You push back a little less than you should because you can't afford to lose the account. You let the friendship drift because the person stopped being useful and you've got enough on your plate. Each one is defensible. Each one makes sense in the moment. And the duplicity does the destroying quietly, over time, without announcing itself. There's a verse in Proverbs I keep coming back to. Chapter 28, verse 6. Better the poor whose walk is blameless than the rich whose ways are perverse. Not because poverty is virtuous. It isn't, and the Bible doesn't pretend it is. But the walk. That's what the verse is about. The direction you're moving. The person you're becoming while you're trying to get somewhere financially. Two people, different bank balances, and the question the verse forces is, which one is actually intact? Most of us have spent exactly 0 time asking that question. We track the money. We track the career. We don't track the drift. Hebrews 13:5 is probably the most practical thing in the whole conversation. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. The structure of that sentence matters. The contentment isn't grounded in your balance sheet, not in the market, not in your job security, not in whether the next thing comes through. It's grounded in a promise, a presence, something that doesn't have an expiration date. Which means contentment isn't resignation. It's not giving up or pretending you don't need money to live. It's the decision to stop treating money as the thing that determines whether you're okay. And that decision, when you actually make it and keep making it, is what closes the gap. Your price exists because you're still expecting money to deliver something it can't. Contentment is what happens when you stop believing that promise. Contentment, the verse is clear, isn't a feeling you either have or don't. It's something learned, which means you can learn it, under whatever pressure you're currently in. Karen took the job, stayed 3 years. The temporary became permanent the way it usually does, not through a decision but through the slow accumulation of not deciding otherwise. She told me later the money was fine, solved a lot of the problems it was supposed to solve, but around the end of year 2, she noticed something. She'd stopped saying certain things out loud. In meetings, to her boss, to herself. Things she would have said before without thinking. She wasn't lying. She'd just quietly learned what cost too much to say. That's the thing about your price. You don't usually know what it is until you've already paid it. And by then you're on the other side of a line you didn't know you were approaching. The shift for Karen wasn't dramatic. She didn't quit in a blaze of integrity. She just started asking herself one question before decisions. Not, can I afford to do this, but is this who I am? Small question. Different compass entirely. A lot of Christians will tell you the answer to that question is prayer, and they're not wrong. But there's a reason so many people are asking whether it's okay to get outside help with the weight they're carrying, and why that question feels like a confession just for asking it. Turns out Scripture has a lot more to say about that than most churches are willing to admit.